What is your resignation premised on? How you close the door, right, really matters. How you shut the door or close the door. So there's a difference between closing the door and shutting the door. Are you just resigning because you're Gen Z and you're I'm sorry, and you're stuck? Have you ever been in an employment where every day you constantly plot your resignation?
I have.
Aisha, have you ever been in an employment where every day you constantly plot your resignation? Like you literally would have written down your resignation letter, and every day before you go to work, you're looking at that resignation letter and you're like, when will I day you're going to tender that resignation?
I have.
You've been in such a situation, which is fantastic. So to our viewers, if you are watching us, just know that today we're going to be distilling why you might be having such feelings, of resigning and quitting from your place of employment. Welcome to the Expert Explorer, of course, your favorite employment discovery channel in the world.
That's right.
Of course, on this channel, we discuss the facts, the myths, and everything in between. My name is Midday.
And my name is Aisha.
On today's episode, we're going to be discussing something very interesting. Unfortunately, this is going to be our last episode on the exit management series.
It's sad. I know. I'm very sad. But when we drop the curtain now, you don't worry. You can sing us. You know that song from By the Way, like I love to. I hate to see her go, but I love to watch her leave. But we've dropped like so many nuggets and so many important things that you can check from the previous episodes.
Absolutely. And of course, on this episode, we're going to be discussing quiet quitting and revenge quitting. Stay tuned to watch us speak about why you're having those feelings of quitting at your place of employment. Okay, so to our newbies, the interns, if you're an NYC copper, a B intern, an undergraduate intern, or a professional, or a graduate trainee, any stage you are in employment, right? We want to help you understand how best, to deal with when you have those feelings of quitting. Right? When you're having those experiences of, oh, this place is not for me and I really want to quit. Like you've written your resignation and you're about to tender it. The first tip is that you need to speak to us.
Yes, ask us.
I know you didn't see that coming, but ask us. That's the most important thing. You need
let's discuss it.
Let's have that conversation.
Let's be your shoulder to cry on. Come and cry on our shoulder.
Yeah. So we understand that even though we know that talking about these things is like the easiest way, to knowing how and even when to quit, right? We would also give you some tips like this one. Now we're getting serious. We're serious about it. So some of the things that you need to consider when resigning are: what is your resignation premised on? Are you just resigning because you're a Gen Z and you're I'm sorry, are you sports? Or you're a Gen Alpha, you're very sports and you really cannot deal with anything that does not suit you, right? Is that the reason why you want to quit? If that is the reason, you need to think well. Because this is your future you're dealing with, and even though you don't want to take it seriously at this point, right,
it comes to biting
you need to actually think through it. You need to be able to understand that quitting, I mean, one day my dad told me that if at every point that I shouldn't always consider quitting every time things get rough and challenging. Yes, in fact, some people actually hop on the next job and at the slightest provocation. So you get a boss that tells you to do something into the late hours of the day, and because of that you say you want to quit. Come on, it's not convenient, right? But again, look at the brighter side of it. It helps you to also be able to own or stay accountable even at periods where it's not convenient, right? So there is always a brighter side of things. You can always communicate.
Which one is because they ask you to do something today, you are quitting the next day?
Aisha, I just believe that the world will be a better place if there is effective communication
Yes.
between you and your boss, because everybody wants to listen, everybody is open to feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not at the same time, you might not communicate that message. You need to be able to understand the timing as
Yes,
well.
timing is very
But
important.
everybody is looking forward to that communication where you tell them what is really on your mind
Mm-hmm.
at the front burner, what is disturbing you, what is happening. Everybody is open to hearing things. So it is very important, right, that you check properly what is this resignation premised on. Also, the professionals, if you are trying to change job because you think you are going to get one salary that is higher somewhere else, you need to also think it critically, because you're not only moving jobs because they're paying well, you also need to consider the long-term effects,
Mm-hmm.
right? Are you changing that job um, to a place, to an environment, or to an industry that would help butter up your career,
Yeah.
your personal growth,
Mm-hmm.
or you're just trying to make the money? Of course, making the money is
It's important,
important.
but it's not the
If
only
you are
important
not
thing.
very experienced, I beg you, please, you need to check properly. Don't just hop to the next job because of the next available
Pay
paycheck
rise.
and pay rise. Yes, increase in paycheck, right? I've had a situation where someone left my place of employment to an oil and gas. Of course, at that
Money.
time, oil and gas was like the main everybody
Mm-hmm.
was looking for oil and gas opportunities. And unfortunately, first month, they were, in fact, they were planning to double his pay. That was
Wow.
what they were offering. They offered double his current
Current.
employment.
Mm.
And aside from that, they said they were going to pay his current employer. That was where we were working together. They were going to pay us off in lieu of notice. So they
Notice.
wanted him to resume instantly.
Immediately.
And unfortunately,
Please.
he was a major employee in the firm.
Wow.
So it was painful to just see him exit like that. In fact, I think the owner of the business was really pissed off about that. I know.
Is your business we need to pay times two?
No,
What is it?
I
I
need
need to double to match up.
the anger was from the place of, oh, you're leaving almost immediately.
Mm.
Who would you hand over to? The other member of your team, they are not strong enough. So how would they be able to cope with your exit? Did you not consider all of these things? Money is not everything, relationship matters, all those kind of sentiments, right? However, it's very important for the employee to check and balance and make proper investigation, evaluate the pros and cons of taking a decision to resigning or quitting a place of employment if it is voluntary, of course. If it's not voluntary, of course, as the name implies, you don't have any say. The second part is, if you are quitting, can you sustain yourself, your lifestyle for another 6 months? That is if you don't have another
Another
place to
job.
go.
Mm-hmm.
If you say you want to take up your own personal gig, can you sustain and maintain your lifestyle for another 6 months? If you can't, I think you should just help yourself to be able to do that for at least a 6 month basis. Because
Yeah.
trust me, in this Nigeria we are
Nobody is
today.
going to give you money. Oh.
I you have to say it that
I'm
way.
just saying.
You have to say it that way. But really, nobody's going to give you money, right? Except for maybe family and friends. And even those people
Even
say
family
they'll
and
start
friends sef.
disrespecting you. So
Exactly.
you need to start thinking through properly. The third thing is how you close the door, right? Really matters. How you shut the door or close the door. So there's a difference between closing the door and shutting the door. Some people shut the door when they exit. And by shutting the door, of course, revenge quitting. That's like the ripple effect of
Yeah.
revenge. When you are leaving, you just kill everybody, you stab them, you offer them poison, just like in Game of Thrones. When Ayasta,
Is it the red one?
Arya, I say Ayasta, Arya, when
Eh.
she gave them poison,
Okay, those
right?
yeah.
And then she killed
All
all
the family.
so you just kill everybody like that, right? Um, is that what you want to do? Or you want to actually maintain relationship even though they've done you dirty? You
Yeah.
just still want to ensure that that relationship is maintained, and hopefully they come back to their senses and realize. I mean, there was a time in my previous place of employment, my line manager did me dirty. Like, she was very, very cold to me, and I'm sure when I was leaving, she even came to meet me and she said, um she knows she needs to tone it down a little bit more, right? And I'm like, yes, she needs to. And of course, even till tomorrow, I think I had to even give her an opportunity for a new job, right? I
Hmm.
actually recommended her for a new job,
Wow.
but it also shows that I did not take it to heart. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that that exit relationship was
Was
not ruined.
maintained.
And yes, I still maintained that relationship even at the point of exiting at that particular time. The last but
Yeah.
not the least point is, where are you going to? I think we already mentioned it at the first point,
Yeah.
right? So Aisha, I would like you to let me know, right? In the not even you,
Okay.
our viewers.
Let's know. Like, is
Do you
burning
think
bridges? Is it okay in a workplace that is toxic? Is it okay that let everything burn? Maybe they are toxic. I'll show them. Is it? Is
yes?
it okay? What do you guys think?
Pour
Let us know.
acid on everybody's face, kill all
Kill
of them,
everybody.
stab
Give everybody
everybody.
poison.
Acid.
No.
Is it
Let's know in
okay?
the comment
Because they are
section.
toxic. Do
Drop it in
they
the
deserve it?
comments. Yes.
The advocate will say it's okay. So, but we want to see your comments.
What do you
Drop
think?
it.
Yeah.
So we have some very interesting stories. Some people reached out to us, and the first story was from a HR manager. And
Mm-hmm.
what she said is that, okay, this HR manager actually works in a Nigerian tech startup firm.
Okay.
And the HR manager said, I was troubled by a pattern of silent resignations, most notably Ada's resignation,
Mm.
our most talented lead developer.
Mm.
After a heartfelt coffee meeting, Ada shared how constant disrespect and dismissive attitudes made her invisible, ultimately leading her to quit or to quietly depart from the organization. Her story became a wake up call, prompting me to prioritize inclusivity and ensure that every voice is valued. That's a good reaction
Yeah.
to her
Yeah.
exit, but I just feel they shouldn't have gotten to
To that
that.
stage,
Yes,
because the person said like series of silent quitting, like it's not Ada's own that was the first one from
yeah,
this
there's
story.
been lots of
There must have been like lots of people that have done it, but this
have
was a wake up
exited the
call.
firm
But it's good that the person like realized that okay, something is wrong, and they took the initiative to
to
know
do
what the
something
issue
about
is
it.
and worked on it and actually make a difference and make that change. Yeah,
Yeah, about that dismissiveness, trust me,
it's
it's not
terrible.
it's not a it can be traumatic to
Yeah.
the person that exits,
Mm-hmm.
because someone has exited and the person's experience was that bad. It simply means that overall the person might be traumatized even at the next place of employment and might not be
Exactly.
able to give
They
his
are
or her
100
best,
because they are constantly doubting
doubting
yourself.
themselves.
Imagine like, oh, where you're coming from, you're constantly dismissed. You give an idea, they're like, ah, what rubbish is this one saying? When you get to the
Exactly.
new place, you even to give idea, even if you have the best of the
Aisha,
ideas, you'll be so scared to say that what if I sound stupid, or
exactly.
what if it's not a good idea?
And that's why
It's
I
very
love
bad.
that period where you mentioned managers in our last episode. Bad
Mm,
managers that cannot give feedback. If you've not
feedback.
watched it, go and
Go
watch
and
it. We're
watch
not going
it.
to tell you what we said
Yeah, we
there.
won't.
Another
Yeah.
story. Another story. I think this person captured it as the final straw.
Mm,
So this is from a top Nigerian marketing firm employee. This is from the side of an employee. My
okay.
friend Tunde faced constant micromanagement and ridicule despite his dedication, leading him to quietly resign. A powerful act of reclaiming his voice. His departure hits our team hard, awakening me to the silent, devastating effects of toxic work cultures. It inspired me to advocate for a more respectful and transparent environment, ensuring no one else would have to leave quietly.
Mm,
Well, too bad for Tunde.
too bad.
Unfortunately, the HR person is not the person that sends this story. I would have
Yeah,
said, well, I think the best thing to do is to always look out. Don't let things go out of
out of
hand before you
hand.
start
Yeah,
taking preventive measures,
yeah.
right? Because you might never be able to come back
Come
from
back
it.
from it. Imagine this person that would say he hits their department, and then
Yes,
the job still falls on managers, like micromanaging. Like if you hire someone, trust them that they can do the job. That's why you hired them. Why are you on their head as if they don't know what they are doing? And ridiculing people to the point of them like somebody that is a star employee to the point of the person leaving. It's really sad. It's really sad, and managers need to do better. Like you need to. I feel like managers should manage people the way they want to be managed.
Yes,
Yeah.
project what you want
What
for
you
yourself.
want
Even
for
the good book
yourself.
talks about that.
Yes, yes.
Well,
if you
I
wouldn't
don't-
like to be micromanaged, don't do it to other people. If you wouldn't like to be spoken to in a very
derogatory manner.
English.
It's not a father tongue,
Yeah,
it's a mother tongue.
derogatory manner. Don't do it to somebody else.
Yeah. We've come to the end of today's episode.
Yeah.
The exit management series.
We did it.
I know. So we've not
God.
just ended the episode, we've also ended the series. If you've not watched our previous episodes, you are missing a great deal.
I think we have like six episodes.
I think this is the eighth or
eight?
ninth.
Oh wow! I don't
Yes,
even count
on
it
exit
right.
management. We've mentioned things about resignation and exit.
Yeah.
If you don't know that there's a difference between resignation and exit, then you need to
There-
go and watch
yeah.
our video. We're not going to spill that.
No.
And we believe that you learned something today.
Of course.
We know you learned something.
We are very sure.
And if you didn't learn anything, at least this is one thing that I want you to learn. Take home, your learning curve for today,
Yeah.
right? Should be that in every country you find yourself, whether you go to Cote d'Ivoire, you go to Senegal, you go to any part of the world, just know that there is a labor act that guides the exit management and procedure of every employee within the
Yeah.
workspace, of every labor force, right? So you are not permitted to be exited, dismissed, or fired on the spot
Without a cause.
unless if they are willing to compensate you,
Yeah.
for according to the
without-
law of those countries.
Without a cause does not mean maybe you're not performing well and feedback has been given like several times and there's no change. That's with a cause.
Yes, of course.
But
That's
just
actually a
because
cause.
Yeah, that's just a cause. So because people will be like, what happened? Because they just sack me. What? So, but without any reason, employers are not allowed to do that. So read about it. It's not Labor Act and labor law is not just for HR managers or business leaders. It's even for you as an employee to
Exactly.
check. That's why we are here to even bring it to you, to bring it to your notice. That
Tell us
you
what
can
is
check.
wrong in your
What is
place
it
of
that you want to
employment.
know? We'll go and read it for you. It's big, I know.
Yes, we'll help
read
you
it for
to
you. We'll
interpret it.
Yes.
And even ask our professionals in the legal setting
Yes.
to help us interpret what
Yes.
the labor law says about certain things. So we thank you for staying to this point.
Thank
I mean,
you.
the mere fact that you listened up until this point says a
amazing.
whole lot about you. And says
Yeah.
a whole lot about our series and episodes that we've been dropping. And we appreciate you
We
a whole
appreciate
lot.
your support.
But don't forget to subscribe,
Yeah.
like, and share your comments. Of course, you see all our details, even our email address. If you want to send us a note,
Our
your
Instagram,
story, something that is biting you or bugging you at your place
TikTok.
of work, we'll definitely address it. So please feel free to always drop your comments.
Don't be afraid. You listen. Drop it. I know you are thinking of something now. Right. Let's give you. Even if ask us for anything, even if it's money, ask us.
From one expert to another, be bold,
Be global.
and be you.
Yay, purr.